Welcome to Pull the Pin Already, a place where average veterans come to share their views on the world we live in. We can't promise you like what we have to say, but we'll promise it's genuine. I'm Jim.
And I'm Mike.
It's time to pull the pin.
All right.
All right, Mike, what do we got to talk about today?
Good topic for today, Jim, would be coronavirus.
Coronavirus. Yeah,
also
I don't even know
known as COVID-19.
Yeah, I don't even know if we're allowed to say it anymore, but yeah, the coronavirus.
Hey, the censorship is going there, but we're not there yet.
Right. As long as we don't call it the Wuhan virus.
That's right. And
Awesome.
It depends on where you are when you call it that.
Right, exactly. So I was going to start off just asking you a question with this coronavirus. Kind of a little off topic, but I'm going to lead into it. I just want to know, have you ever in your life been lied to?
Yes.
It's not a trick question, Mike. Have you ever been lied to by the government?
Ooh. Yes.
So I guess what I'm getting at is today we have moved past the information age, where before we really didn't have much information. We relied on newspapers, news and stuff to get information. Now we have this thing called the internet. So we're flooded with information.
Yes.
So the era we moved into now is basically finding the truth in the information. So because there's a lot of information, there's a lot of opportunities for false information.
That's true, yeah.
So right off the bat, when this pandemic started, I remember we were told the coronavirus came from Wuhan, right? I don't know if you've ever seen the articles on it. They talked about there was a laboratory near the fish market or whatever they call those markets.
Right.
And apparently somebody might have taken it out of the market by accident, or there was a whole bunch of stories. I guess we can call them conspiracies until we know the truth. Once that kind of made its way around, I think China got a little bit upset and started to push back, and China was actually saying that there was American troops that came to China and spread the coronavirus.
That part I never heard.
Yeah, it's another, I'll call them all conspiracy theories now because I don't know how much proof we have. I did see things about cell phone usage in that Wuhan market shut down in a certain period of time. There were certain things. I remember there was an inspection done at this Wuhan laboratory, and they failed a lot of their inspection. So it was very dangerous. But so right now, I don't even know what to believe on even the origin of the coronavirus.
I'm right there with you.
So then let's just go to the elephant in the room. I mean, do you believe there is a coronavirus?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so
and I see it as a type of the flu. I think that's a general consensus. It's a type of flu. So
you believe there is a coronavirus, but it's not as it's a bit embellished the way we see it today.
Absolutely.
Okay, I personally, even once again, I keep having to default back to the information you trust.
Right.
I have not firsthand information because I personally haven't lost anybody, but I have firsthand connected information with people who have lost somebody.
Right.
And I've talked to some people that were nurses, and some of them talk about the things they see and some of the effects. So I personally, I don't believe it's like the flu. I do believe it's much worse than the flu, but I don't think it's as dangerous any more than the flu. Maybe I'm not explaining that right.
Well, when you say you believe it's worse than the flu, what do you mean by that?
I mean, I think, first of all, I'm going to go out there and just say, I'm believing in the conspiracy that it was man-made. I believe that. I don't believe this originated from some bat. I believe it was man-made.
Okay.
And when I say man-made, I believe that this virus was probably designed as a weapon of some sort.
Okay.
And it attacks specific things. So I don't think it was just some virus that slipped out and people are affected or they're not. I think this virus was created to attack certain things. And once again, I'm only going on my belief. And just like I said, average veterans, we can only go with the information we know and what we think is true.
Right.
So this is all the information I've heard, but I'm telling you, my brain is just baffled because there's so many contradictions.
Well, I'm right there with you because I don't know what to believe. I haven't heard it came from bat poop or anything like a bat bites or bat poops or anything like that. But I did hear about the Wuhan and that it's man-made. Like almost anything out here is man-made, but I don't believe, as the old song goes, don't believe the hype, you know.
Right.
And but just to bring it in, reel it in a little bit, I also don't have a problem with doing everything that they're telling us to do
Right.
to protect others.
We can talk about the methods in a second, but first I
Hmm.
want to go back to the statement I started with about being lied to and lied to by the government. Let's talk about the World Health Organization.
Okay.
I mean, these are the things that the general Americans, and we've talked about this before, we don't have time to research coronaviruses.
Right.
You know, we don't have all friends that work in hospitals or any of these specialists. So we have to rely on what we believe is a trusted source. Now,
That's true.
I probably don't trust the government. Let's put it this way. I err on the side of double check the government, but the World Health Organization, it was supposed to be some well-funded, trusted organization. And I remember right in the beginning, they had some information that was completely contradicting. You remember when it wasn't person-to-person spread?
Right.
So they were told that it wasn't person-to-person spread during the same time China.
You're coming in broken, Jim.
You can't hear me?
I can hear you, but you were coming in broken.
You're just saying I'm broken. That's what I get where
No.
you're going with this. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, everything's going. It's going.
We'll make a
fine
commercial
now.
out of this, all right?
Yeah,
Oh,
but
wait,
I'm
so-
telling you right now,
It's already
I'm not a
taken.
conspiracy theorist, but it's right when you start talking about the government, you started coming in
Oh,
broken.
I get it. I get it. Well, I
You'll see
wouldn't
the
be
comments
surprised.
after the show. They'll tell you.
I wouldn't be surprised. You know, Google's
Right,
listening
right.
for sure.
Yeah.
So maybe Google's got a government employee at each desk.
Hey, break up that talk. Break it up.
Right. So what I was saying was basically the WHO came out with contradictions saying it wasn't passed from person to person. And the whole time they were doing this, China was actually shutting down national travel. They were shutting down travel within China, but they never shut down international travel,
Right.
which leads to another conspiracy that they were intending to spread this.
Right.
So like I said, even given what I know from working in the military or being in the military, none of it's unbelievable. But
That's true.
until we have proof, it's all conspiracy until we have proof.
Right. And I mean, there's some people mentioned a show that was on Netflix. Uh, it basically shows the whole design of the coronavirus, and everything that was happening on that show is happening today. I
Right.
can't remember the name of it, but I can get it.
Well, I don't know, you know, I don't, like I said, I don't study the coronavirus, but I don't know if you know that this isn't the first coronavirus.
Right. Right.
Like that's what goes back and leads into what you were saying about being lied to and things like that. This is not the first coronavirus.
Right.
So if we documented the last coronavirus and put that into a Netflix special, it would be just as relevant as this coronavirus.
Right.
This one just happens to be publicized as some worldwide catastrophe.
Right. Do you believe it's a catastrophe?
No, I personally believe, and I was going to use that like Sweden. Look at countries like Sweden. Sweden did what I believe the Americans should do and say, hey, you're smart enough to know what's important to you. If you
Right.
value your safety, this is what we recommend. And if we had done that, we might have been just like Sweden. I mean, if people started seeing their relatives or neighbors going to the hospital, they would take that sign and take more precaution. But I think
agree.
the kickback is there's a lot of patriotic Americans out there who don't think it's the government's job to tell me how to keep myself safe or when I should keep myself safe.
Okay.
And
And I agree with that to a certain extent, because forming a government is to protect the people. So that's
Correct.
why I would disagree with that statement. I would also say, and add to that, is I didn't like the response, how they shut everything down. They stopped this, they stopped that. And then they said it only lasts I believe it was 6 days, 14 days, or whatever the total amount of time was. So in theory, I was thinking, okay, if you're going to shut things down, if it lasts only 2 weeks, shut everything down for 2 weeks. Shut everything down for 3 weeks, just to be sure.
Right. Well, that was
And
the original plan. 2
yeah,
weeks.
no, but then you start opening things, and then you can never have anything to gauge it off of, gauge the proper response, if that was the proper response. You know what I mean? So
Sure.
my take on it is, it was a gut reaction, when you should have just took time, use the people in place to use the pros out there, those medical people out there, to analyze everything and come up with a solution.
Well, let's
But
talk. Let's talk about those pros. Let's talk
okay,
about those pros, because there's a guy that's been in the White House presence for several different presidents.
okay,
This Dr. Fauci guy.
yeah,
Now, personally, the more I hear him and the more I see him, the less I like him, especially after his celebrity tour. But he originally came out and said the masks don't work,
yeah,
right? And then I actually saw him. I believe I'm not sure if it was an interview or talking to Congress. I'm not sure, but he blatantly just came out and said, we only said that so that we can save the masks for the medical personnel. So I heard it out of his mouth say
yeah,
he
he lied.
lied.
Yeah,
So that's a debatable thing where you're talking about the government's job to protect us. And I do
right,
understand the government has to keep people from freaking out.
right,
I get that. But I guess at what cost? I mean, you're going to deprive the general public of a mask to give them to doctors to treat the general public.
right.
So if the general public has masks, there's less for the doctors to treat if they work.
If they work.
Right. So I guess the question is, like I said, his original advice was they don't work, and now all of a sudden it's more popular to say they do work. So right off the bat, I don't believe the guy anymore. I don't believe anything he says, because now every time he says something, is he trying to protect doctors or other professions telling me something so I can protect myself? Like, how do you follow that up?
Yeah, now you can't see him without a mask.
Well, right. I mean,
Yeah.
he was at the baseball game without a mask.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so let's talk about that. Let's talk about, like I said, I already touched on the liberty, the freedom part. Let's talk about the contradiction. Let's talk about the hypocrisy.
Yeah.
And I think the hypocrisy is starting to prove that this is not about the coronavirus. It's starting to prove it, because what is it? What is something really big that's recently happened? Oh, I get it. The riots,
Right,
the George Floyd 3 funerals with all those people there.
right.
At the same time,
More recently, John Lewis.
right, they're releasing prisoners because it's so dangerous.
Right,
At the same time, they're breaking up Jewish funerals in either New Jersey, I think it was New Jersey, arresting the guys from the gym, the barber or the tattoo guy. They're arresting business owners for not complying with this stuff, but yet they're encouraging these mobs of people.
right.
I mean, is the hypocrisy any more blatant now? Why would I believe it?
For me, the hypocrisy comes from, you have to take one, what I like to say, municipality. If you take Atlanta, let's just use Atlanta just as an example.
Okay.
If you have people rioting or mass functions in Atlanta and they're not doing anything, and then you have this Jewish funeral and they break it up and say, no, you're in violation, then yeah, there's hypocrisy there. But when you have these different pockets of incidents in America all over, then I can't really label that as hypocrisy. You know what I mean?
You're right. Well, it's not, you can't label it as hypocrisy, but you have to be specific on who you're calling a hypocrite.
Exactly.
The state of New Jersey, run by a sorry governor, is hypocrite. And as a former resident of New Jersey,
right,
I knew I wasn't going to stay there. I will never go back there. I can understand.
right.
It is really basically, I'm sorry for you New Yorkers, but New Jersey, North Jersey is southern New York, and South Jersey is like eastern Pennsylvania. So really, there are no real New Jerseyans in.
Right.
But in all fairness, that state's been run horrible anyway. So, but I don't want to get on a tangent about New Jersey
Right.
because I could stay here all day. But I guess you're right. The hypocrisy from New York, New Jersey, that was pretty blatant. I don't know about Atlanta's hypocrisy, but I do know that in the media today, if you watch any of the media, there are politicians parroting these things.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, literally refusing to denounce large gatherings, whether they're peaceful protests or riots.
Well, I mean, how can you trust someone whose job is on their first day when they get elected, their job is okay, focus on reelection. You know, and it's any politician. As soon as they're elected and they get in office, as soon as they get in office, they focus on reelection.
Well, sure, but in that focus on reelection, they have to pick the winning side. If they pick the winning side, they get reelected.
Yeah, and I believe that's what they're doing. You don't want to upset a certain demographic who has a large, powerful, let's say, or very influential voting base. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah, so I mean that's what they do. So that's why when we say I don't trust them, I just don't. It's kind of like trusting a car salesman, if you will. There's very few politicians out there that I can honestly say. When you start talking nationally,
Sure.
right now, local politicians, I'll give it to them. You know, I put my faith and confidence in them at a local level more so than the national. I just don't trust them.
Right, because local seems to be more accountable.
Yes.
Right, national they can hide. Like, I mean, what's her face, Cortez doesn't even live with the people she votes or she represents.
Right.
So she's not really accountable. But in that context, though, I don't know how we can trust anybody then.
Yeah.
And I think based on our military experience, we never take anything for granted. Even when we have a plan, we know there might be a possible ambush in this place or that.
Right.
You're always having a backup plan. You're always analyzing, reanalyzing. You're always doing that stuff.
You always have a contingency plan.
Exactly.
Because everything works good in training, and next thing you know, once that first bullet fires off, everything changes. Right. Everyone's reaction is different, and that's why we train. You know.
So, but let me ask you. I mean,
well, keeping it there. That's why I find it hard to understand why the average veteran would trust the politicians on either side. I don't care who it is, right? Because they've all proven to be liars, snakes, if you will. So I don't understand how, after going through all of that training, and
well, I agree,
how they can do it.
I agree, Mike, and I will tell you, if you polled every person in America, I think 80% would say they don't trust politicians. I think if you are in the military or connected to the government, that would go up. So I would suspect in the 90% of military or even, any kind of government connected people wouldn't trust politicians because they kind of see the rules. Like I can just give you an example. When we were deployed, you had these rules of engagement.
Yeah.
You remember that stuff? Like I literally was like, away, right in front of the enemy, not literally, but figuratively. Right. And my rules of engagement were you can't fire until you're fired upon.
Right.
And I'm sitting here like, who's making that call?
Right.
Some guy back in DC.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was not sitting looking, at the enemy in the eye.
Right.
Like it's just insane how anybody in the military would have any trust for any of these politicians.
Yeah. Yeah, that rules of engagement, that's a stickler for a lot of soldiers, man. And I was one of them. I never understood it, and we do our best to follow orders and all of that, but no, I don't like it.
Well, think of it. We were trained to basically bring out the inner tiger.
Yeah.
And we were basically trained to overcome the fear. We were trained to that. Now, think about what's happening right now and the fear they're causing amongst regular people in this country.
Right.
People who have not been trained to overcome fear.
Yes, but I disagree.
What do you mean?
I believe if you really follow politics, you'll see that you'll receive that training. You know,
Well, I think you're giving a lot of people a lot of credit because I don't think I think there's a vast majority of naive people who don't
really?
want to read. Yeah, I do. I believe it. And I see it every day. I mean, I see people driving with their mask on. You clearly have no clue
Yeah.
what this is all about.
Yeah.
If you have a mask on, let me tell everybody out there right now, if you have a mask on while you're driving, turn in your driver's license because you just became a threat to me.
Yeah.
This is a virus. It's not a zombie apocalypse.
Well, let me ask you this from our training. When a virus is released or some kind of gas or some powder or something, what do you do?
Well, we stop breathing immediately and put our mask on. But do
Okay.
you sit in the area?
Yeah, right.
You don't sit in the area. You don't
Right.
sit in your mask for 3 months and say,
Yeah,
oh, this will work.
I tell you what, you wouldn't go through that. I wish that CS chamber was, like the mask they giving out today.
No, the CS
Go in there with
chamber,
that.
the CS chamber should be for everyone graduating high school.
Yes.
Mandatory.
Mandatory training. There you go.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of protesters learning about gas now.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think it's as strong as the gas that we got, I believe. I think the spray that they use out there is not as strong.
No.
But, yeah.
It'll make you get around to a knee if you're not used to it. Never had it before, though.
Right,
Yeah.
of course.
Oh.
And I want to talk about the fear, though. I want to talk about the fear and what the fear is actually doing, because we could take the virus, for example, and we say, okay, let's treat the virus like a threat, like an enemy. You know, we could come up with a plan and contingency plans and all this stuff, but we are being very naive to dismiss the effects that it has on us, no matter what plan we implement. And I don't know if I'm making myself clear, but I'm saying by locking everyone down, you've seen the economy hurt. You've seen domestic violence go up, drug abuse go up, suicides go up. I mean, you're seeing all the results of their plan that to me appear weren't even thought through.
No. I'll say the same thing to put something on top of that, the stimulus plan, the stimulus relief, that little $1,200 or for some and a lower amount for others, I believe.
Wait, a higher amount for kids. Don't you have like 6
yeah,
kids or something?
yeah.
I mean, I thought you bought your second boat with that stimulus, didn't you?
I don't have a boat, brother. I can't afford it.
Oh, so you're not counting all the other kids?
Oh, no.
Oh, all right.
I can't do it.
All right.
No, I can't afford it until we get the next check.
Oh, no. All right. So nice down payment.
Yeah. But no, my whole thing was what I was saying. I told a bunch of people, I think it was like $3 trillion. You know, if you took all the adults being 18 and older in America, and you gave them $10,000, it would come out to about that same amount that the stimulus plan was.
Right.
Yeah, and I never understood, if we received 1,000, you know, where did the rest of the money go?
Well, I was under the impression that a lot of that stimulus money was going to the businesses to keep the businesses from failing, because a lot of businesses have shut down.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, you could talk about the corruption in it, because they've already arrested one guy, I think, in Arizona, I think it was. Got $3 million, and then he was going on his second $3 million.
And I know two companies personally, and I cannot mention them, but I know two companies personally that are being investigated for that.
Right. So we can talk about the corruption of it.
Yeah.
But the intent of it was to keep the businesses afloat, because in all fairness, the government said you can't open.
Right.
So let's talk about this, and this goes right back into the whole lying and transparency thing. So I walk into a restaurant yesterday, happened to go out to eat some sushi. I love sushi. I walk in, I have to put a mask on, right?
Don't do it, Jim.
They take me to my table, and I can take my mask off.
Yes.
Because clearly the coronavirus understands I'm eating and can't be bothered.
Right.
So it will stay at the door with the receptionist.
Exactly. It's a hard chance that it will enter the facility. Even though you still have to wear it once you enter, but like you said, you get to the table, then you can take it off to drink, to eat, to talk.
Yes.
Yes. I never understood it, but
Well,
I like it.
They don't take it off the talk because I couldn't hear a word the waitress was saying.
Right, right,
I'm just like, I'm sorry, I can't understand a word you're saying.
right.
And she was
But
speaking English.
I do like it though.
You
I
do
do
like
like
it?
it. Yeah, because I don't know, Jim, because they had to do something to allow the businesses to open and to combat the transference or transmittal of this virus.
Well, once
Right?
again, this goes back to what's true and what's not.
Exactly.
Because
Exactly. It's all about how much you believe.
there's enough data on both sides now to prove that if the mask does anything, it's a very minute thing. And there I'll agree with you. Okay, if we can do a minor thing that helps other people, then okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. But the problem I have with it is the fear that people have been instilled with are getting them crazy, dependent on the mask, almost like it's some religious symbol. And I don't know if you saw in the news recently, but I saw 2 incidents. One was some couple out on a picnic, minding their own business, and some lady was walking her dog
Yeah.
and yelled at them for not wearing a mask and
Yeah.
pepper sprayed them.
Now that one I didn't see.
Oh yeah, it's out there. Some lady pepper sprayed a couple that she wasn't even near them. She had to go near them to pepper spray them.
So she had to violate the social distancing to.
Yes.
Okay.
Just because they weren't wearing a mask, which is like I said, it's not a zombie apocalypse, people. Stop.
Right.
And then there's another one where a couple was giving 2 guys a hard time. They were sitting on a bench, they were on break, and the one lady threw her coffee on this guy because he wasn't wearing a mask. I think there was more to it, a little bit of altercation.
Yeah.
But the altercation started, from what I understand, because he wasn't wearing a mask.
Yeah, I've seen a few of those.
Yeah, and the guy
stories,
got up and ended up beating up her boyfriend, which I
Right.
still don't think was right. But I mean, what do? You punch her? Like, you know what I mean?
No, you can't do that.
It's just.
He should have controlled his woman.
Yeah, well,
And I don't mean that in a bad way. People.
Right.
I don't mean it in a bad way.
Right.
But no, I've seen the videos of people going up to other people telling them to put the mask on while they're sitting there and they're eating in like a mall food court.
Right.
So once again, you're committing a violation of the social distancing to have someone else put a mask on. I don't understand that.
Right.
On top of that, getting back to try to reel it back in here, what about the soldiers? I don't I work on the military base, so everywhere they go, they have to wear the mask. Even while they're training, they have to wear the mask.
Even during PT?
That I don't know.
Because you don't
They
see
are
PT or you don't see them?
Huh? I don't see them. I don't go to work that early, man.
Oh,
You're getting me in trouble, brother. You're getting me in trouble.
My bad.
Now I can't share the link with my boss now.
Because I would be curious, though. I'd be very curious because I would assume that wearing a mask while running would be really hard for breathing.
Well, they have those masks with like some little circle thing over it. No.
Like the N95 mask?
Yeah.
That was the one they said works. See, this is where I knew right from the beginning they were full of crap. They didn't even understand. All you have to do is go to the manufacturer's website, right? So the N95 mask, you get them at Home Depot. They got a valve, almost like the protective masks that we use. Remember those rubber valves?
Yep.
Well, do you know what that rubber valve is for?
What's that?
It's to force air out. Okay, so think about this. You got a mask on with a valve. It's a one-way valve.
Wow.
You're not protecting anybody around you. You're protecting you. But do you remember when the big thing was, the N95 mask, that's the one. You just got to wear it right. It's got to be fitted right. No, because you're still blowing everything in your mouth out that valve.
Yeah, but today it's to the point where they tell you to wear a mask, not the N95, but also some type of face covering.
Dude, I have like pantyhose. Like, I mean, the mask I have, I could blow through. Have you ever heard the guys talk? If you can smell a fart through it, it clearly isn't working.
Yeah. All the guys watching this, they understand that.
So what it's intended to do is stop droplets. Like when you spit, you normally drop. That's the whole purpose of the mask. I'm not an expert, of course, so you can't just quote me on that. And maybe I sound ignorant by even saying that. But it clearly lets air out, or you couldn't breathe. You couldn't breathe if it didn't let air out. So it's supposed to stop the liquid droplets. So think about that. all these people are convinced that this mask is some sort of savior,
Right.
and they think that that's going to do anything. But yet there's so much downsides to the mask, they completely ignore that.
Right.
And
So
I just,
let me ask you this, Jim. What do you think they should have done?
as far
Besides
as
tell the truth.
right, the truth is a good start. The truth is a good start. And as opposed to you, I mean, I don't know, maybe you did say this. I do agree with the 2-week shutdown. I was okay with the 2-week shutdown because, for one, if we don't know what this is, we definitely want to shut down and see if we can control it.
Right.
But at the end of the day, let's take another example. Seatbelts, right? Seatbelts are mandatory or you get a ticket.
Right.
I remember when I grew up, I'm probably dating myself, I sat in the back of the station wagon with no seatbelt.
Yep.
I'm still alive.
All the way in the back of the station wagon.
Yes, looking at the drivers, making them feel really awkward.
Yeah.
The drivers waving at them like some idiot, hoping they wave back. But I'm still alive. So there was a risk, and people die in car accidents all the time. In fact,
Even while wearing seatbelts.
Even ones wearing seatbelts. And the government has not taken away my car or anything to proactively stop those deaths. In fact, what was the last time you had a government official in your bedroom preventing you from having a child with unsafe sex or catching an STD?
Right,
last time. They are not taking a proactive stance to save you from that. Drugs are still out there. Alcohol is legal.
That's right.
And you're not stopping people from doing these things, and yet they all could lead to the same thing. Now, I know you can say it's a little different. You might say, oh, well, it's a little different. It's a virus. It's a virus. But what's the difference? Even if I say I want to go get sick, who are you to tell me I can't go get sick?
Right.
You know, and that's the argument I think a lot of people
So you believe that if you want to go get sick, you should have that right to.
I believe, not that I would want to go get sick, but I believe if I mitigate that risk, that's on me. Just like every other risk I take. Every time I got on my motorcycle, I knew if I got hit, I could die.
Right.
But I enjoyed riding it. I took that risk.
Right.
So every time I leave this house, if there's a zombie virus out there, I just got to keep my eyes open. I got to social distance. And if you believe it, I just got to wear my mask and I'm safe.
Right.
So what do I care what you do?
Okay. But the government, our government has come up with laws. When we do ride the motorcycle, you have to have a helmet on, right? Some states. Some states. Yeah. Some states you have to have a helmet if you ride a bicycle, but they don't say anything about when you have to have when you ride a motorcycle. Sure. It's kind of odd, but they're out there, right? So they implement laws to help protect you. That's why they're doing it. Wearing a seatbelt is to protect you. Wearing a helmet is to protect you. You're under the
assumption, Mike, that I agree with that.
No. I'm just saying.
Okay.
I'm just stating.
I don't agree with that either. I don't think I need the government telling me.
I got it. So some people would say when they make a law that says you have to wear a mask, it's the same as making a law that says you have to wear a seatbelt.
Okay, but let's be fair. If you're going to try and sell me that the government is trying to protect me by making laws, they're protecting me, then why can't we make laws against old people who can't drive, clearly can't drive anymore? Now, they could break the law on the street, but they're doing 20, 30 miles an hour, could cause you an accident.
Yeah, but there are laws against that, though.
Well, driving too slow, impeding the flow of traffic, sure.
Yeah, and then they have to,
But what if they get into an accident? It's too late for
because they're doing that stuff. Okay, I understand. There's a lot more things that the government can be involved in, like homelessness.
Yes,
you know,
like
you said, drug addiction.
Yeah, I think they get out of the business of telling us what we need to do to protect ourselves, or making us protect ourselves. Because here's the real truth of it, Mike. There is a law against wearing a seatbelt. Does everyone wear one?
No, they take the chance.
Exactly.
Right? They take the chance on harm coming to them, and they take the chance on having to face a monetary fine of some kind.
Or hurting someone else.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, the seatbelt might not.
Someone in the vehicle, if you get into an accident and you're not wearing your seatbelt, you can hurt someone in the vehicle.
With your body, essentially.
Right. You become like a projectile. Yeah. So, but that's stretching it a lot there. But
but even speeding. Take speeding, for example.
Right.
I mean, name me somebody who hasn't sped. I
Right.
did meet somebody who said they haven't sped, but I'm skeptical. But, you know, I mean, but people
Not
speed
you.
because people would rather break the law, take the risk that they know they can mitigate to
Right.
get there earlier or get there on time. So to
Exactly.
them, getting there on time is way more important than obeying the speed limit when they knew they could
Absolutely.
mitigate it.
Right.
And let's like take for you, I can't contest for your training, but I've been in a lot of training. I can drive faster than the speed limit because I've been trained to. Now, I'm not
Right.
supposed to, but I can.
Right.
So,
But once again, some people know there's a law and some people break the law. If you're caught speeding, not wearing a mask, you're subject to a fine. It's the
right.
same thing.
And I'll be fair, like we said, I'll be fair. I don't mind the speeding law because you're not just protecting me, you're protecting other people.
Right.
So I understand their intention to protect people, but I think their protection should be geared on protecting the rights of others based on your behavior, not
Right.
protecting you.
Okay.
You know, and I'll be honest with you, even when I'll go a step further, if you choose to take some marijuana, drugs, whatever, and you are in your home not harming anybody, that's on you. I don't think we need to waste our time and resources going after addicts. Dealers, yes, because they're promoting it, they're hurting other people through their sales and supply.
So what do you think we should do about the addicts?
Well, we need to get them help.
There you go.
You know,
Treatment.
right, I believe they need to treat them, but I don't think they should charge them.
Yeah, I did a paper on that years and years ago. It's called, I think it's a Rand Corporation. They did a study and they found that if you spend more money on treatment, that would cure the drug problem in America before law enforcement will.
Right. So
Yeah, a lot of people don't believe that, but it is true.
Oh, I get it. I believe it. And that's why I
Yeah.
said, so instead of instilling fear in people that this zombie apocalypse is actually happening, and then giving them some Hail Mary, like this mask is their savior to the answer, you know, stop and give people the truth and let them decide what is best for them. And let's be honest, if you are one of those people out there who believe that this mask, no matter what it's made of, is some savior, then you wear the mask. Leave
Right.
people alone. Because if you're wearing the mask, then you can't get sick.
Right. And if I'm not wearing a mask and you don't want to socialize with me, then so be it.
Yes, it's not like people are running up in your face, lifting your mask and spitting on you.
Right, right.
That's assault or whatever your state calls it. So leave people alone. If you believe the mask works, wear it.
Right.
You can't be so ignorant to be making fun of people or harassing people that are wearing masks, saying you're going to get other people sick. Well, if they're getting someone else sick, it's somebody who's not wearing a mask.
Right.
And that's on them. So
It's
don't be an
it's like
idiot.
it's like the meme that's going around. If social distancing works, why do you need a mask? If the masks work, why do we need to be quarantined? You know, so
it's all
like,
true.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
all
I
true.
agree. I agree.
If they're telling the truth, then they're ignorant. They just come off as totally ignorant.
I agree with everything you're saying. The only addition to that I would say is I really don't mind wearing a mask. You want to know why? Like you, when I go out and frequent these establishments, I like it because people are out, you know, doing minus the mask what we were doing before.
Well,
You know, we have returned to some sense of normalcy, if you will.
Sure,
you know?
but I could do that without the mask.
I know you can. You're just messing everything up, man.
No,
you just don't want to.
let me throw something at you that you may not have even considered because it blew my mind when I read it.
What's that?
Do you know there is a law, where I live at least, against wearing a mask while carrying a concealed weapon?
Yeah.
So I could go to jail for following one law, I'm breaking the other law.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
How no?
Because you have to wear a mask now, Jim. Come on,
Exactly.
man.
So that
you're not going to jail.
I can't carry concealed.
I tell you what, if I was an officer still, then I would say, yeah, you have a chance on going to jail.
Yeah.
Because I would arrest you. Yeah.
And you know this stuff has happened. And I'd love to talk about that. We'll entertain and go to police work, which I think is kind of going to be fun for us.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that and even how it relates to this stuff. But why don't we go ahead and just make a say here. Number one, Mike, you believe the virus is real?
Oh, it's hard. Yes.
And do you believe masks work?
Yes.
All right.
Do you believe it's real, Jim?
I'm going to tell you the virus is real, not what they're making it to be. It is a real virus.
Right.
And I don't think masks do an eighth of what they say they do. I don't believe they do an eighth of what they say they do.
Okay.
So I'll do away with the masks, keep the social distancing, and everybody get back to the thing. And I just want to make one more point, just to make the glaring hypocrisy. I just saw yesterday, I believe, the CDC themselves, the guidance that everyone stands by, just said kids need to be back in school.
Yeah.
My kids aren't going back to school because they're scared.
Right.
So now I know you're all lying, and everyone out there listening, you're being lied to. I can't tell you which one is the lie, but you are being lied to, and you need to take the time and do your own research and stop putting your head in the sand and trusting everything you believe from everybody.
Well, they are going to practice social distancing in school, right?
Well, they can't.
No?
Well, they can't. Some schools are trying to, but think about it. Schools are overpopulated. 30 kids to one team. You can't social distance 30 kids.
I thought that's why a lot of the schools, we can't speak for all of America, but
sure.
I thought that's why a lot of the schools were doing distance learning, giving like seniors the option to do things online now.
There are good Americans out there trying to make compensations for what they're dealing with.
Right.
And I think they're legitimately trying. But my point is, if the government would stop lying to us, stop the little bickering, infighting, outfighting, whatever.
Yeah.
And just give us the real truth. We have enough smart people in this country to come up with solutions.
See, now right there, you hit the nail on the head for me. I believe things are bad when no matter what, well, it depends on who's in office or whatever, what party is in office. Whatever they say, the other side goes against it.
Sure.
Sorry. If it's a real pandemic out there, you guys can't agree on this. That's when I throw the flag out there.
That's why I said, come November, we'll see if this is a real virus or not.
There you go. There you go.
Until
really
then,
believe it.
Until then, let's go ahead and pull the pin on this one, and let's move into our segment called Pull the Pin Already, where we just talk about something that really irritates us, or maybe it doesn't really irritate us, but we want to make it like it really irritates. You want to go first there?
No, I went first last time. You take it this time.
All right, I'll take it first. Well, recently I volunteered.
Oh my God.
Recently I volunteered to video a wedding.
Okay.
And I think a lot of us have probably been to weddings, so we know the weddings. But what I want to talk about is that family member. Everybody has that family member.
Yes.
And I will tell you, they're usually the one trying to be in the wedding when they weren't supposed to be. I literally had a camera set up on the ceremony, to capture the whole ceremony, the bride, the groom, the preacher, or whoever's hosting the wedding there, or facilitating it. And this lady had her phone out, just like a Skype call or whatever the program she was using. She was letting somebody watch it, literally leaning over in front of my camera, in front of the whole ceremony, trying to show somebody what was happening.
Wow.
I literally had to make those little shh noises, like shh, like some little cat, But I didn't want to make anybody mad, but I know I did the right thing because I heard, "Mom," and she moved. She didn't completely move. Right. She just slid back a little bit.
Was it on like Facebook Live or something?
I don't know what she was doing.
Oh, okay.
I was filming it.
Yes.
So they all could watch it later. And she didn't even, there were lines on the floor. Vases, whatever you want to call it, whatever country you're from or whatever, tomato, whatever. They were lined on the floor, so she knew her boundary and still the whole time stood inside of it.
Wow.
So that's my problem. If you're one of those people, you think you want to be in the wedding, go get married again. Even if you're already married, get married. You could be the center of attention, but stop ruining everybody's wedding because you want to be that person. So
Mm.
that's mine.
You're gonna pull the pin on them.
Yes, definitely. What you got, Mike?
Oh, mine today. I have to be honest, Jim. This is probably gonna be the first one where you don't agree with me at all. Okay, and none of the viewers are gonna agree with me because you guys don't have the issue. It doesn't touch you near and dear to your heart. 4 letters, and I'm talking about SPAM, spam. Pull the pin on it. Just gotta pull the pin. I can't handle it anymore, man. I can't. Now, some people out there, they're thinking about, well, what type of spam is he talking about? The meat?
Bingo. But a lot of people don't know about the older spam.
Yes, exactly. Now, me, I grew up on the older one. This new generation spam, nah, man, they took it to a whole nother level. You know, our spam had every type of ingredient you can think of inside of it. So that was okay. It fed your belly, right? But this new age spam, it's just too annoying. You can't get away from it. They always calling you. You block them, they find another number to call you from. Pull the pin, buddy. Trust me. I would pull the pin, set a claim up, and get the rest of them. You know what I mean?
I think you'll have 99% of the people on your side.
Yeah.
The only ones you won't have are the ones doing it.
Yes. We all need a job, right? That's what they'll
Exactly. Exactly.
say.
So I guess we're in agreement, right? So
Yeah.
we're gonna stop having those annoying family members at weddings, and we're gonna stop sending people spam,
That's right.
which includes all your little Facebook things and like this for $1 million. That's part of
Yes.
spam,
Yes.
even if you don't realize it.
If you
No.
vote like this, forward that, you'll get $500,000. Yeah. Or a chance to win. Oh, God. Please. Please.
Exactly.
I've done a couple.
I could see that $1 million paid off.
Yes, exactly. Pull the pin, bro.
All righty.
All right.
Thanks for joining us here at Pull the Pin already. We hope you had as much fun as we did. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, whatever else you want to do. But most importantly, leave a comment. Let us know how you feel. Until next time, Godspeed.
And pull the pin.